Hello, how are you, Lucretia? I hope you are fine, wherever you are. Okay, in this video presentation, I'm going to explain the questions which you have sent me for assistance. All right, let us start with this particular question. Okay, the question was saying, which of the following personnel in an organization would not be involved in the sale of goods on credit? Okay, so you were being tasked to just show the examiners if you understand the accounting books of I mean the accounting records or the books of accounts. At the same time, the organization, the business organization set up, uh, so that you are in a position to understand who is in charge of what and so forth. So in this particular question, when we are saying a sale of goods on credit, we are simply saying um, those individuals who have got direct interaction with credit customers. Okay, so if we look at the first option there, a payables ledger clerk, this guy he works in the accounts department, but he is in charge of creditors records. Okay, all right, he's responsible for the maintenance of the creditors ledger. All right, so creditors or payables, these ones are suppliers. So automatically, this one, even if you do not know anything more about, but the moment you hear that this one deals with suppliers, obviously that's not part of the sale of goods on credit, because sale of goods, we're talking of um, movement of goods to customers, not from suppliers. So automatically you can see that the payables ledger clerk is a red herring there, and I mean is the odd one out actually from the rest of the options. All right. Warehouse operative. A warehouse operative is somebody who works in the warehouse or in the stores. So when we are selling items, automatically we need to interact with these guys to tell us if we still have the goods in stock, and if those goods are in right quantities and right quality. So we need these guys, the stores guys, to tell us if the items are still there in stock. Okay, so the warehouse operative is actually somebody who's involved. Then salesperson. The salespersons are the individuals who show us that this customer wants to buy or has placed the order. So please, can you assist them? So the salesperson is involved. Then credit controller. These are the guys who do the credit management systems to rate clients if they are possible, if they are worthy of credit, if they are worthy to be given credit. So they are also involved. A credit controller is involved. He is definitely involved. Before we give or we sell items on credit to individuals or to customers, we need his input, so that we only give we only sell items on credit to people who are credit worthy, who are going to repay us in the future. So is he involved? So the only person who is not involved there is the payables ledger clerk. He is responsible for the recording of transactions related to credit suppliers. Okay, credit suppliers, not credit customers. So the answer there was payables ledger clerk is the one who is not involved. Okay, let us go to the next question. Okay, we are having this particular question where uh, we are required to just fulfill some double entry requirements. Okay, the question was saying, what is the double entry for the following in an integrated accounting system? So what you were supposed to do was to look at your right column, at the right column there. Okay, on your right, there are two items there which require some double entry. The first item was production overhead absorbed in the cost of production. Now, when you're talking of production overheads, these ones are the expenses. Indirect expenses incurred in production. All right. Remember, the main expenses we are going to see in a production setup, we've got the direct materials, direct labor, and then production overheads. Okay, so production overheads, they are also entered in some form of double entry when we are doing the record keeping. Okay, but because overheads are expenses, obviously when you are recognizing an expense, you have to debit the expense. So the first point, you're supposed to pick two, because a double entry means that what happens on the right side is going to happen also on the left side. Okay, we've got the debit and the credit at the same time. So for production overheads, you need to know that when you are now absorbing or recognizing an expense in the cost of production, is an expense, or is a cost. So when you're recognizing a cost, you have to debit the cost. So what you then have to understand is which type of, or what is the description, the management accounting description of a cost of production. Cost of production is recognized as work in progress. Okay, so you need to debit work in progress control account. All right, so debit work in progress, that's the first items you were supposed, that's the first thing you were supposed to have done. Okay, so you debit work in progress, so you should have ticked the box for debit work in progress control account, and then credit what? You need to credit the production overhead account, right? So you credit production overhead account, so you are supposed also to have ticked the production overhead account in the same row. Okay, in the same row with production overhead absorbed in the cost of production. So that's the same row, but you were supposed to then pick the right columns. Then you do on the second row there, completed work transferred from the production process to inventory. Now this is now the movement from that work in progress we had initially debited. Then it means technically that you then have to credit the work in progress and debit the finished goods. All right, so why? Because it is the finished goods which are now receiving. So you remember, you debit the receiver and credit the giver. That's the accounting rule. So the finished goods account is now receiving finished goods, is now receiving those items from work in progress. So it means that the receiving account, which is the finished goods, is going to be debited. So you debit the finished goods control account and credit the work in progress control account. I'm sure I've been heard there. Then the last question was um, what is the main factor to consider when designing a management report? Now, when you've written something that is to be forwarded to management, you need to then tell yourself what is the main thing to consider. The main thing to consider here is not the neat handwriting. No, okay. Of course, it is essential, for um, uh, or office etiquette, something like that. You just have to be professional, but that's not important. Okay. Confidentiality is essential, but it's not the main factor to consider. Okay. um, the length of the report, it is also essential, but not important. All right, just something that is to be considered but not that important. The main factor to consider is actually the needs of the users. What do they want? What do they expect in this particular um, report? Okay, what do we intend to achieve out of the report? So the needs, their expectations. All right, for example, when you are preparing a budget report, all right, you need to consider uh, the type of the user you're going um, to give that report to. What are their needs? What do they expect to find in this particular report? Okay, are they interested in material um, budget or material cost information? Okay, and what type of horizon are they looking at? Are they looking at a 3 month horizon or a 6 month horizon? What do they want? What particular information do they need? Okay, so the needs of the users are, is the prominent factor to be considered. I hope you have been assisted with this presentation, and I look forward to have you being cheerful and focused on your studies. Until next time, may the good Lord continue to bless you. Amen.